Meteorologist Matt Makins here with Weather 5280. If you're looking for other content across the nation, check out my last video. It'll give you folks that are across the country an update on this atmospheric river that continues to impact the region. But again, this video is going to focus on Colorado for weather5280.com. Let's get started with the storm, where it is, where it's headed, and some of the recent snowfall reports too. First off, we've had some really nice snowfall totals across the high country. This is from coloradoski.com. So the snow report there from Colorado Ski Country. As we scroll through the list, there are some notable higher totals. Monarch, 10 inches over the last couple of days. Steamboat, the winds, with 16 over the last couple of days. Silverton is right around a foot or so. We're going to be adding to the Silverton totals, southwestern mountains, as we go throughout this next snow event. And just a quick aside here, if you're curious, where is our snowpack so far? After Christmas, we dropped just below average, but we're boosted again. So January 1st, we're up to about 116% of average with snowpack across the state. Nice to see that trend there. Where's our next storm system? Well, it's here out near California. So follow my mouse cursor right there. It's the center, Southern California, moving pretty much right over the top of Las Vegas. It's throwing a lot of water out ahead of it, some strong winds as well. As that system begins to move into the state, it's going to begin to create some problems here for us, travelers especially, and some deeper snow to the San Juans. Let's go through the day. Let's start at about noon. Let's start at noon here on Sunday, and I'll advance. You're going to see areas of green, that's rainfall, pink is ice, and blue is snow. So here we are at noon, and most of the snow and moisture is confined out over the western slope and over the San Juans. As we get later into the day, let's stop at about 5 o'clock, and we're starting to see the chance, at least, chance of rain and snow beginning to move into the Pikes Peak region. So around Colorado Springs, possibly, with snowfall stretching out through the high country. Deepest blues there, the richest blues down over the San Juans indicate the heaviest snowfall. As we go throughout the evening hours, watch as we expand greens, pinks, and blues over the Denver metro area on up toward Fort Collins as well. This is 8 p.m. Chance for precip in all forms, a wintry mix, if you will, across the northern front range. As we cool off this evening, kind of the rain and icing chances do skirt off over the eastern plains. Let's stop here. This is 1 a.m., and we have pockets of snowfall around the front range from Wyoming down to New Mexico. Pockets of snow possible overnight. Never really focuses on the metro area until we get to early tomorrow morning. This is during the drive time, and just after, we'll have another wave of snow moving through. So bottom line here is we have a couple of waves of snow to move through as we go through the next 24 hours or so. Kind of focusing on daylight hours of Monday, though, and then we begin to clear off on into Tuesday. So, with that said, the storm, as we've talked about the last few days, with insiders initially last week and then in a public post yesterday, our biggest concern was just how north is the storm system going to be? And is it going to be so far to the north that the impacts are limited across the state? Well, not necessarily that far north, but it is taking a northerly track, and that's going to limit some of the snowfall around the Denver metro area and Colorado Springs as well. The alert map here shows the ultimate path of the most impactful parts of the storm in the form of snowfall and some of that icing too. Up to the north, Wyoming, Nebraska, parts of the Dakotas, toward Minneapolis will be the center of the storm and its biggest impacts. For Colorado, where does that leave us? Well, we have some advisories, some watches, some warnings in place in the high country, and all these are broken down in text form to let you know what's in place in your area on weather5280.com there on the homepage. As you look at some of the threats we may have on the way, kind of the severity index, if you will, from some impact all the way to severe or extreme impacts, you can see the San Juans here really highlighted. So travel wise, impact here is going to be biggest down in the San Juans, and then of course up into Wyoming and Nebraska as well. We do have these impacts that have grown across the metro area, and that's a combination of the snow that we do receive, and there will be some areas of icing. So before I get to snowfall totals, let's look at the icing potential. It's going to come in the form of freezing drizzle or some freezing rain in some cases, and it covers areas from Denver and Colorado Springs out I-76 and out I-70 toward Nebraska and Kansas. So we have to watch out for some icing potentially here on some of our roads. And then on top of that, we're going to throw down a bit of snowfall. Here are the latest snowfall projections. And as you can read through our blog posts and online, if you're an insider, you have access to our Snowfall Gamblers charts. But compiling the gamblers data, the storm track as we see it for through Sunday morning, and also some of the modeling for snow depths as we go forward in time. This is the most probable snow forecast for you. So across Colorado, the San Juans jump out at you. A lot of snowfall coming down there, several inches possible in the central and northern mountains. And then you come down to the metro areas in the Front Range, and we have a bit of a drier slot that's moved in over the Palmer Divide, over Denver, northward toward Loveland. And within that area, we'll have limited snowfall, a couple to a few inches possible, but not necessarily as likely as deeper snows that you'll have in the high country or up closer to the Wyoming and Nebraska state lines. This storm, let's assume that it's a little bit off course and is a little closer to Denver. Well, you could bring those deeper blue shades down into the metro area, indicating several inches possible here. But bottom line is, Denver's not necessarily in a favorable zone as we see it in the data through Sunday morning. So again, we'll always post the latest on the storm here on weather5280.com. If you haven't subscribed yet, you'll get a little pop-up here that will ask you to do so, and we're just it's going to send you an email. Whenever we send a forecast update out, it just goes to your email. That's what subscribing does. And if you want some more insider type information, we have snowfall gamblers charts, precipitation probabilities, the weather board, all these sectional breakouts. And when we do post longer range forecasts for insiders and pros, we put them here on this page. So that's what would be a subscription tier. But to just subscribe, that just means you're willing to receive an email update from us. We know that's pretty critical this time of year. From all of us at Weather 5280, I'm Matt Makins. Have a good new year.